everyone, welcome back to my channel H&E Life. My name is Dr. Cindy Wong and I'm a practicing GI pathologist. My feelings as a brand new attending, it's really hard, it's really crazy. As a fellow, I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready for this. As a brand new attending, so I was a fellow up until June 30th and I was doing fellow responsibilities. Come the next day, I wake up, I go to work, July 1st, I'm an attending. And all of a sudden, everything just feels so much more pressure. It is now up to me to click that sign out button. And when in that first month in July, when I was clicking out that sign up button, oh man, that was like really, really tough. And of course, as a brand new attending, I have to be proctored. So basically it's like I operate like a fellow during junior attending where I like do the whole case. I talk to a resident, I work everything up. It's beautifully written and I send it to my proctor who is a senior attending and they'll basically sign off on it or they'll give me comments back about what I'm doing wrong. Cases that used to take me 30 minutes to do now takes me hours because I will look at it the first time and I'll write my general thoughts and I'll leave it and I'll go on to the next case. And then once I've done with all my cases, I go back to that first case and I look through all the slides again and I read my report and I retype my report, make changes, whatever. And sometimes I will sign it out, after that second whole time. There's times where I'm not confident and I will wait until my third time. I'll look at the slides again and then look at my report, be like, okay, I could finally sign it out. So something when I was a fellow, I could, I'll preview it and I'll, preview with attending. When you preview with attending, it goes much faster. And then if the attending agrees with what I saw, I just write a report, send to attending, and then it's like on the attending to catch any errors I make. Now that I'm no longer the fellow, I'm the young attending, everything's on me. It took me a while. So let me tell you, the first month I was there, I was coming in around 8:30 every day because I wanted to get cases done in the morning before I talk to the resident. And I will be staying till 6:30 every day. I guess it's really not that bad, but I spend every minute working. I do not take a coffee break because I bring coffee with me. I don't take a lunch break because I bring lunch with me. So I basically always in front of a microscope, always in front of a computer. If not with a resident, I'm constantly working. And then then I get to be done at 6:30. 7 and I go home and I try to not think about work because my brain after that full day is just mush, and that was a repeat and every day was like that. But like I said, I never got up the next day to be like, I can't do this. I still got up and I went, and I think that's the one good thing. It's like I enjoy what I'm doing, so it was okay. General breakdown of my day. I tell the residents I don't want to sign out with them till 9:30 or 10 because I want to give them sufficient time to preview. I don't want them to stay super late at night to preview, so they could come in the morning and preview, and then we'll sign out a little later. So I come in 8:30 until I start signing out with my resident around 9:30, 10. I look at the last day's cases, or I start previewing for today's cases, or I just do all the other stuff I have to deal with. And then I will sign out with my resident for about 2 hours. It really takes about 2 hours to go through all the cases, to teach them as I go. I take my time, I look at every slide, and I try to teach along the way, and we discuss cases along the way. And so it takes me about 2 hours to sign out with my resident. Then that usually takes me to lunchtime. I will go heat up my food, come back to my desk, and start looking at cases. And then maybe, hopefully, the resident has started sending cases to my queue. From 1 to 3 p.m., I am on Frozens. And when I'm on Frozens, I sit in my office, I get to keep working on my cases until I get a text from my resident saying, hey, we have a case for Frozens, and they'll tell me when they're staining, and I'll walk over to the frozen room, we'll do the case, and I'll come back. And if it's really busy, I might not really get to work on my cases at all during those 2 hours. If it's not that busy, I get to work on my cases in between frozen cases. And then usually by 3 p.m. the residents will have sent me most of the cases for the day, and then that's really when I sit there and go through all the cases and start sending out the easy ones and then relooking at the harder ones. More tumor boards happen twice a week for me. So if this is the day in which I have a frozen and a tumor board, for example, we have colorectal tumor board that happens at 3:30 to 4:30. Sometimes it runs really long. Sometimes it runs close to 5. I would be there on tumor board listening while my fellow presents and giving my own input. And then after that, I'll spend the rest of the time signing out cases from the day. And that can take me to, the fastest I could finish a day usually is around 5:30, or that'll take me till 6:37. One thing I do love about Stanford is they give you a home workstation. And when they give you a home workstation, they give me a very nice desktop with a Philips FDA approved monitor and of course VPN direct connection to the hospital network, so I can pull up cases on Philips and sign them out. And this is something, when I first started, I didn't do this as much, but now that I'm a few months in, what I find is if by 5 my brain is just mush and I can't think anymore, I go home, I spend some time with my dog, spend some time with my husband, watch some TV, and then I come back to the computer at 7:30, 8:30 and sign out the rest of the cases because I need a little break to refresh my brain. I don't want to work on tired brain because that's when you make your mistakes. To some people, that sounds like living hell, having work follow you home literally like that. But to me, I really like it because I don't have to force myself to work through exhaustion. And it's also great too because sometimes if I don't have if I don't have a resident on with me, sometimes in the morning, I will just stay home, drink my coffee, and work on cases at home, and then go into work, say 11 or whatever my frozen or my meeting or whatever happens, I'll go to the office then. But I love my home workstation. I can't do all my work. As a pathologist, I cannot do all my work remotely, but it does allow the flexibility to do some of it remotely. And I think it's definitely made my work-life balance better. That's really it. That's my experience as how my days are as a brand new attending. I feel really stressed a lot of times, but then I have to remind myself I have done 4 years of residency, done 1 year fellowship. Technically, I am trained and prepared to do this. In terms of things that I wish I knew before I started attending, okay, one, I wish I asked more about exactly what my clinical duties were before I started. I wish I found out that when I do frozens, for example, during my 1 to 2 hour time period, not only do I cover the frozens in our 2 hospitals, our old hospital 300p and our new hospital 500p, so there's 2 frozen rooms and I have to go in between these 2 frozen rooms. I also wish I knew before I started that I also cover frozens for our affiliate hospitals, in which I do frozens over MOTIC. Stuff like that. Things like that is something I wish I knew. Other things I wish I knew was asking attendings before I started, like, hey, what other responsibilities are you responsible for? Because then I would probably find out, attendings also take care of the SNL testing, also take out they also have responsibility of this and that. I wish I knew before I started was that they were just gonna throw me into the deep end. Not it was a bad thing. I think they were able to do that because I did my training here. Because I did training at Stanford, I knew how Stanford operated. I knew the frozen room. I knew this. I knew that. I knew how to do things. So first week on service, I was assigned tumor boards, I was assigned frozens, I was assigned clinical duty, and I think I even had a day of call. So in my first week as an attending ever, I had all of the responsibilities I really need to do all added to me in a week. So basically they started me off as any other attending would. I found that a little overwhelming, but I was able to manage because I kind of understood what needs to go into what because I was a fellow here and I did most of that as a fellow on a fellow level. But if I was a brand new attending to a new institution and they gave me all the responsibilities an attending have to do on my very first week, I think that would have been a little too much. And if that was the case, I probably would have liked the institution to let me know that. But I hope that if you are a brand new attending starting somewhere you never was a resident or fellow in, they wouldn't start you off like that. They'll start you easy. Maybe just first week you just do clinical duties, and then next week they'll toss in some frozens and they'll toss in some tumor board or something, and then call, and they spread it out so you get eased into it. Another thing I wish I knew, the salary I make, it's not low salary. It's not like, it's a decent amount of money. I just wish I knew how much of it was not gonna end up in my bank account because of all of the deductions. So my first paycheck, I was shocked because I didn't bring back significantly more than what I did as a fellow. As a fellow, after all the taxes and retirement and all of that, my monthly paycheck was maybe like high 3,000, like 3,800. And then now that I'm attending, my take-home paycheck after all of the deductions, after all of the taxes and everything, and of course my retirement deductions and all of that, I bring home a little less than $5,000 every paycheck. And I was kind of shocked. I really expected that big attending paycheck. I know what the state tax is. I know what the government tax is. I should have estimated that about 43% of my income will be gone. Poof, just like that to taxes. I am so thankful that the student loan stuff is still on hiatus, that I'm not paying back for that yet, because if I do, then my paycheck really won't go very far. Once the forbearance is over, my student loan payments will go up to about $2,000 a month. So yeah, that's a huge pay difference compared to when I was a resident. I was paying like $300 a month. Now as attending, I have to pay back $2,000 a month. So yes, my paycheck went up. No, it did not go up that significantly. And what it did go up is going to go straight into my student loans in a few months when all of this is no longer available at 0% interest. It makes me so sad. That's really it. I think the biggest surprises, those were my biggest surprises. And yeah, I think I'll stop this video here. I've covered a lot. Tune in, hopefully in a year from now, there'll be another video about my experience as an attending. Also, please let me know if you would like to follow me to work one day, and maybe I'll make a video on what it is that I actually physically do at the hospital instead of sharing and describing to you what I do. Maybe I could show you what I do, but let me know if there's enough interest in following me around, because honestly, a day in the life of a pathologist, it's not that exciting. Unlike, a day of life of a surgeon, you get to follow them to the ORs and stuff like that. You just follow me to my office. Let me know. Comments down below as always. So yes, I'll stop it here for today. Please like my content because it really helps out with the YouTube algorithms, and hopefully we'll get the word about pathology out to the whole world. And I will see everyone next time. Bye.